Welcome to the Moms I Know with Sheila, Walsh, Dunton, and Maria Elaine Anderson Fahrner. Two moms on a mission to reclaim childhood and take you from surviving to thriving on your parenting journey.
Marianne Williamson says, "There is no single effort more radical in its potential for saving the world than a transformation of the way we raise our children."
Hi there.
Welcome to
The Moms I Know. This is our introductory podcast for us to welcome you to the Moms I Know podcast. We are happy you are here and we cannot wait to get started. I'm Sheila.
And I'm Maria.
And we are two moms on a mission. We want to help you, inspire you, give you information on how to reclaim childhood.
And to find joy in the parenting journey, help you to protect the precious time of childhood.
And to parent with intention. From a non-judgmental point of view, we want to show you how to cultivate a dance of sorts.
A healthy family culture, to find joy along the way, and to help you look at the choices that you're making in your parenting journey, in your parenting dance, and to take thoughtful, considerate decision-making into the whole aspect of becoming a family, really thinking about that family culture.
Exactly. I can't say it better. So a little bit about me. I'm Sheila. I'm a mom of three. My son just turned 16. I was going to say a 15-year-old. I have a 16-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 9-year-old. I used to be a high school teacher, and after my first two children were 18 months apart, I decided I was going to stay home with them, and I became a stay-at-home mom for the last 15 years. And I started to homeschool them. So I homeschooled them for 10 years, and in that time also became a nutritionist, always learning, and really have always been interested in family and children and in the culture that we are creating at home. And, you know, Maria has been a mentor of mine, and whenever we get together, we talk about raising children. We talk about family culture. We talk about the things we're seeing outside of our own families, outside in our communities, and really how can we support you? You know, because we feel like we might have a few things in our experience that can really benefit families to go from surviving to thriving, right?
Great. And Sheila, I love that, surviving to thriving. I'm Maria, and I am a mother, a grandmother, a teacher. I have two children with my husband. I also have a stepson. He has a son from a previous marriage. And so I have been through the step-parenting, the parenting, and now the grandparenting journey as our children are starting to have their own. I've been a teacher of early childhood ed and elementary ed my entire adult life, worked with families for several decades now. I started the homeschool program at our local school district 25 years ago, and that's where I met Sheila and her lovely children. And so over those decades, I've really been mentoring families, working with their children, working with them in making all kinds of decisions. And so this podcast, The Moms I Know, is a labor of love between Sheila and I because of all of the discussions that we've had over the years at our round table, at our kitchen tables, on field trips and outings. And we feel that we have something to offer and that we can help you in looking at all of those choices that you make along the way. So we are looking forward to talking about a wide range of topics in the parenting journey.
Some of those topics include technology. Right? How to manage technology. I think that's a big one because it's so in our face.
It really is.
With two teenagers, I see it's so much in my face that it really bothers me.
Well, social media has changed the landscape of the whole family journey. And one of the things that I have heard often is that childhood has changed more in the last 50 years than in the last 50,000. And that is so true. And I've worked with families for over a long range of time now, and I've really seen the change. I've seen the pace of life pick up so differently and quickly, and the distractions that are out there. There's so much inundating us nowadays. And so we really want to help guide you, help you make choices, help you understand that there's repercussions for all of the choices that we make. And so how do we grapple with those? as we raise families differently than we were raised, as we raise families maybe in isolation from your extended family, or maybe you're with your extended family, but you want to do things slightly differently.
Exactly. In addition to technology, we kind of really want to talk about everything. You know, as we know, mom parenting, it's not simple. So we want to talk about self-care. We want to talk about nutrition. We want to talk about school. You know, education choices.
Right. Relationships, your personal relationships, your extended family relationships, the idea that it does take a village to raise a child. I think that we really need to look at who else is in our family life. And so we have a wide range of topics with Sheila's background in nutrition, with both of our background in education. We really can cover a wide range of topics, including literature and travel and outings with children. So we have a lot of exciting podcasts to come. We're excited to have you join us on our journey. And so we were talking about this dance of childhood. And I love this analogy because we really want to have fun along the journey. We might be learning some new things. In fact, every step of the way is new. But parenting is the most rewarding thing that I feel anyone can do. We are forming future generations. We are guiding the future of humanity. And I think that as we look at the way the world is going nowadays, we really need to take the time to step back and look at how we are raising our children, the choices that we're making every day. We can be talking about sustainability in our choices. We could be talking about giving back, all of the different ways that we can look at how we help our children to become healthy, striving, centered individuals. We want them to be grounded. There's just all of the different ways that we make those choices on a daily basis. And our children are watching every single thing that we do and say. Now I'm seeing that the grandchildren have come along and they're not only watching their parents, but their grandparents and everybody else out there. And so it's a fun vantage point to see this next generation coming in. So we're passionate about what we do.
Exactly. We are. And you know, it's not without struggle. We're not here to say this is easy. In no way is this easy. And you know, there's no growth, there's no wisdom without the struggle. And so that's why parenthood, I mean, why not do it with intention? Why not do it for yourself so that you can become the best that you can be, right?
Right.
We want to raise adults. We want to raise children that are resilient, that can stand on their own 2 feet. And you know, we have, especially with Maria, she's a grandmother now. But with teenagers, I can see the work that I put in when they were younger is really paying off.
Oh,
you
so
know?
true.
And I think we're here to show you that, you know, to answer those questions that you might have. That what does it look like when you co-sleep with your baby for 3 years? What does that mean? They're always going to sleep with you when they're teenagers? Short answer, no, they're not.
We also want to make sure that we're coming from a place of deep listening. We'll look forward to hearing from many of you. We want to come from a place of non-judgment. We want to work with people where they're at and then help them with those choices along the way. And nowadays, there are so many different choices. There's so many different parenting styles. There's advice about this style or that style. And, you know, we joke about all of the different ways in which you can raise a child. But the reality is there is no one right way. Yeah. Every family is different. Every family constellation is different. Every child is different. They come into the world with their own gifts, with their own aptitudes, their capabilities. Then we look at birth order, and then we look at what's going on in the parents' lives. And so, you know, having raised our families and having, you know, now the grandchildren coming along and both of us working with many, many families over our years, it's just wonderful to see that there is no one right way, but there are a lot of choices that we make that have the repercussions. So we want to help you look at those things, and we'll be exploring those together. So it's just an exciting journey ahead. Exciting time to be parenting. It's also one of the most challenging times. When we look back at, you know, when I was a child, there wasn't so much gray area. Parenting was kind of black and white. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we were the generation that, at least I was the generation that the parents just said, be home by dinner time. And off we went. And we were able to play outdoors all day long. We were able to be fairly independent. And nowadays I see a completely different shift with that, with children in cars, so much more being shuttled to different activities. And so we really want to look at that and say, what's gained, what's lost, how can we do things differently, how can we do things the same as we were raised, or maybe make those conscious choices to do things differently.
I think that's what a lot of parents do. I know, like, this is what I want when I was a child. I want that for my children. But yet we live in a world where it's really hard to obtain because we are really parenting. This is not something we're going to get into on this first one, but parenting with fear. We have a lot of fear because we're plugged in more, and so we're hearing more. Mm-hmm. And so how can we parent with less fear to empower our children and to empower our parenting? Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you brought that up. So let's look at it. We can parent from a place of courage. We can parent from a place of deep knowing. We can be bouncing ideas off of each other. And we're really looking at strengthening ourselves as individuals, strengthening our relationships as parents so that we have that capability to be strong and striving individuals and modeling that for our children. And I think that that's something that a lot of times as parents, we don't really think about that beforehand. We have our children and then all of a sudden, oh my gosh, we have to figure this out as we go. And we weren't parents before. We were a couple before. We were individuals before. And now we have to look at how this changes our own individual lives and our lives as people in relationship. And so we have to constantly be shifting, be adapting. And so again, the analogy of the dance, right, comes back. And so we want to help you along the way to adapt, to change, to regroup. And how many times we've come together as parents saying, I tried this, it didn't work, or I tried this and it did work. Let me share this with you. And how about this idea? And so that's what we're hoping to provide in this podcast is ideas for you to grapple with, for ideas for you to dance with, ideas for you to take and transform and use if you can, and converse with us if you can't, or if you have questions about it. And so it's just fun to have that support along the way. And so we are looking forward to providing you with that support, with that guidance, with some ideas, and have fun with you.
Yeah, because we want the moms I know to really to go out there into the community so that we all know moms that are inspired with intention and to create thriving families. Imagine what we can do if we have thriving families. We can change the world.
We can change the world, and that is what we're doing.
Yeah.
So we start with Sheila and I are the moms that we know.
Mm-hmm.
We know many more moms that we'll be reaching out to as well. We're hoping to invite some guest speakers onto this podcast as well. So we'll be introducing you to some other friends along the way, other moms that we know. And we hope that you will share this with the moms that you know.
Yep. And we're going to be, going over topics. We're going to be going over books. We're going to be going over trips. We're going to be going over, so many things. I'm getting really excited just thinking about it here.
We've had a lot of fun over the years sharing all of these ideas. We're looking forward to sharing them with you. So we hope that you will be joining us on our journey together and sharing with all of the moms that I know.
Sounds good.
Take care. We'll talk to you next time.
Thanks for joining us today for The Moms I Know. To learn more about Sheila and her online program, The Mom Map, visit purplebeetnutrition.com. To learn more about Maria and her group programs and retreats, visit SoQuelEssentials.com. That's SOQUEL Essentials.com. We hope you enjoyed today's episode of The Moms I Know. Until next week, have a joyful family journey.